Yeah, GMOs are like freaking ridiculous.
Oh man. It's funny.
Yeah.
You say GMO, I think of The Simpsons Tapped Out. It's so funny. Have you seen that game?
I haven't, no.
Oh my god. Well, there's this. It's an awesome game for that. I talk about it all the time because I'm obsessed with the game. It's for the iPhone or your iPad or Android or whatever. But there's this farm that you get and you can grow GMO potatoes. And the joke is that they never, like the potatoes, like ever played Farmville, those other kind of games you have to harvest things or they go bad. The GMO potatoes actually don't ever go bad. So you can leave them there for like a week and you can still harvest them like a week later and they never go bad. So yeah, a little GMO joke by The Simpsons Tapped Out.
That's pretty dope.
That's why I love that game so much, because it stays current with current episodes as well as seasons, like, you know, holiday seasons.
Yeah.
And it's free, you know, so it's a pretty stellar game. But you can buy stuff too, so that's how they get you with the premium content. But no, yeah, going back to that ancient alien stuff, yeah. So that's the legend of that Stargate over in Peru.
That's awesome, because I think there's a lot of stuff in South America, especially in like Peru and like Chile.
Mm-hmm.
Where's that one where if you fly over it, it's like crop circles, but it's like rocks that they did, or it's like burned into the
Nazca
rock.
lines.
Yeah,
the Nazca
Isn't
lines.
that in South America?
Yeah, that is actually. I think it's in Peru as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in Peru, and I think there's another place isn't this really like similar to like the Loch Ness, but it's in like Peru. It's this deep ass lake. It might be in like Chile somewhere.
And it's got
too.
a bunch of submerged UFOs coming out of it.
The what do they call those? SWOs or whatever. SFOs. Submerged flying object.
USO.
Yeah.
USO. Unidentified submerged object.
Unidentified submerged object.
So they did a whole ancient aliens thing on that too, you know.
Yeah.
And so
Catalina, dude. Catalina is a hot spot.
I was going to say that. Supposedly, there is a UFO base between Santa Monica, Catalina, and I think it goes south. So Santa Monica, Catalina, and then it goes south. I think like the Newport Laguna area. Yeah. And so in that area, they're saying there's a ravine as big as the Grand Canyon.
No, yeah, there's the shelf. You go out a mile, and then it drops like a mile.
Yeah, and dude, have you heard of the Battle of Los Angeles?
Yeah, oh, totally.
They still reenact that out there every year.
I bet that's some real. I mean, that's real deal shit right there. That's a bunch of people saw UFO, and the Coast Guard freaking opened fire on those mother Fs, and that's pretty much the story, but it was like Newport, right? Or like Huntington Beach. It was
right
like
off of Newport, I think off of Newport area, yeah. And no. I want to say it's Laguna area.
Yeah, like Laguna Beach.
Yeah, because that's where they have this for the festival. It's in Laguna. But and those who don't know the story, basically in the early World War II time off the coast, there was for 2 hours, I heard, around that period of time, up in the air, a big, large object that we were opening fire on. 3,000 shells or something like that were fired.
Oh, yeah.
And 4 deaths from shrapnel and heart attacks, on our side, but we didn't hit anything.
Nope.
Front page of the LA Times.
Not that we know of, anyway.
Not that we know of. And it was on the front page of LA Times. And I had this LA Times book. It was so awesome. My parents got probably like early 90s. And I had the front pages of all the LA Times.
That's awesome.
From beginning to that point in time. And sure enough, I saw it there. And I remember seeing that picture. I'm just not really realizing what I was looking at then. But when I saw it on Ancient Aliens, I was like, oh, I totally saw that.
That's awesome.
And and it's just one of those things where it's in our history. It's happened before, and it's. Have you ever seen the? It's called Roswell, the UFO story. I think Martin Sheen's in it.
No, I haven't.
It's basically the story of the captain that took the fall of the Roswell story. How the Navy published, we got a UFO, and then all of a sudden it said, oh, it was a weather balloon, and the guy holding the weather balloon. Yeah. It's his story. And he published it after he died, of course, because he was sworn to secrecy. And his kids published it after. And it basically says that, we recovered aliens. One was dead on impact. 2 survived. One was in critical, only lived a few hours. The third one lived for a couple weeks. And in that couple weeks' time, he gave tons of information as to what was going down in the universe. Okay, we're not alone. There's like so many hundreds of species. Some aren't all friendly. Some are actually warmongering. And Earth is in the sights because of our water and because of our gold. And we've been here before. And so all those things combined, we're like, you need to prepare your people for another coming, because they're coming soon. Someone's coming soon. And it might not be the Greys, who are the friendlies, but there's, and I've heard this in abductions. There's a lizard species that's very aggressive.
There's the reptiles.
Yeah, they're very aggressive and warmongering.
There's the ant people. Yeah,
who saved the Earth once, apparently. According to the Hopi Indians, the ant people saved us once already.
Yeah.
From our
we can get
demise.
into the hollow Earth theory. We can get all crazy.
Oh yeah, we'll get crazy at that. But this movie, Roswell, that'd be a good one next. Roswell. This UFO story, basically this Gray laid it on the line. I was like, you got to desensitize your people, because right now you're a mass of morons, and you will go out and you guys will kill yourselves and your people if you guys find out that you're not alone. And sure enough, they did a test, which was War of the Worlds, a broadcast by Orson Welles.
Yep.
And sure enough, they were right. They saw a reaction to what would happen, and then now. And it's so funny. It's a fact. You can ask a kid back in the 50s, draw an alien, and they would probably draw you some sort of weird robot thing, if anything, or their gardener. But now you ask a kid to draw an alien, and he'll draw you a Gray.
A Gray's face. Oh,
Perfect Gray face. And probably some weird four-armed alien lizard thing, and who knows what else. The kids who's desensitized now and accepting of the fact that there's probably aliens. Our kids believe that there's 100% aliens, no doubt.
Oh yeah.
We're like 80%, Our generation, the next generation behind us, 100%, and that's what they've been waiting for, is that moment in time, and we're, like I said, in that story I wrote in the 6th grade, man, once we dig far enough underneath the pyramids and we activate that beacon, I really think that it's going to be a moment in our history where we stop being people of nations and start being people of a planet. And start working towards that, Star Trek future, betterment of man. Hopefully, and
the whole Terra theory, where we're one collective consciousness, we're one people, a one world government. That we can get a little crazy on that one too. That's a fun one. New World Order, that kind of fun stuff. Having a united people is not an easy feat.
No.
Yeah.
And I think, again, a lot of it comes from our religious issues. And I say issues because, again, I grew up Catholic, and when you grow up Catholic in a Catholic school and Catholic high school, you don't stay Catholic. You end up leaving the church because, I was an altar boy, so I worked for the church, and my priests were cool. My priests were cool. They never pulled anything, with me, and I had a group of altar boys and girls that were awesome people to work with. But when you work for the church, you kind of become disenchanted with the religion side of it all, and so I explored other religions. I, looked into the Wicca and, Native American religions and Buddhism and, even looked into Judaism, and it was interesting, kind of like Catholicism, a lot of ritual and whatnot.
A lot of guilt.
A lot of guilt, but I start to kind of realize that it's ingrained in all of us just to be good, not take from other people that what's not yours, don't kill, don't lie. That's been the basis of all the laws of every man from the beginning of time. Those are the laws of the universe. And I think that if we can get rid of religion, and realize that there is a spirituality to the universe that's not religion. It's not how many times you can stand up and bend down or how much money you give, to a cause. It's, the betterment of your kind. Your time here on this earth, as a human. The betterment of human. And then when you die, your soul goes back up and you get respawned as a lizard guy in some other planet. And then you got to better that race the best you can, towards that mission. That's what what I came out with after studying all the religions from across the board. I'm kind of being like, there's not one right one, but you all kind of agree with each other, and, if you look at the universe in the whole, it's ever growing and changing, and we've been here for a half a millisecond of this entire timeline.
A blink, if that.
If even that. Like they were saying, the dinosaurs have been here longer. than when we've been here.
Yeah, the dinosaurs freaking survived, man.
6.5 billion years, was it? Or million years?
Oh, billion.
Billion years, right?
Yeah, dinosaurs lived for
We've been-
hundreds of millions.
We've
like-
been here, I think, what was it, 600 million as mankind? Something like that?
Yeah, I would say like as our
Yeah.
earliest ancestor. Yeah.
Yeah. So, for all we know, dinosaurs had language and communication. Like, they were
I
here
think
for 6.5 billion years,
I
man.
think they definitely did. I think the anthropologist theory that their big brains were not useless, but that a lot of them would say, oh, it was a big creature with a big skull, but it must have had a small brain. I don't believe any of that shit.
That's based off of current knowledge of
Yeah.
big animals in our
Big animals
environment.
In our environment, but we're talking about reptiles that.
Higher oxygen environment
Yeah.
back then. I mean, have you seen After Earth?
Yeah.
You know, a very good case in point was like that bird had human intelligence.
Yeah.
You know, that bird that protected, and spoiler alert, that bird that protected Will Smith's kid. God, I hated that movie. I had such high hopes for that movie. But he displayed human parenting, you know,
Yeah.
abilities, you know, and that comes from having a big brain, you know, and having the right receptors in the brain to be able to do that, to know that this is not an enemy, this is a friend, you know,
Yeah.
and to be able to protect something that's, you know it's weaker because it doesn't have feathers, it's not from your environment, and to protect something with your own life, that's shows a soul of some sort,
Yeah.
you know, to sacrifice yourself for something that's not you, you know. So, do you see, I watch movies in a deeper way. See, the ganja, man, it gets you there.
Yeah. I definitely
Watching
think
movies is
that,
always better.
I definitely think the dinosaurs had like language and social orders, you know, similar to our own. Because I mean, if pigs do, and other creatures that are currently breathing oxygen, I definitely think the dinosaurs
Well, check this out.
had a lot going on.
I don't know if you've seen this one or not, but they have pictures in Egyptian pyramids, dinosaurs walking with man.
I've seen a lot of dinosaurs walking with man. Yeah.
And also in, again, I think I want to say it's Peru, they found a Stegosaurus painting, full skin, full everything.
That's dope.
It's like, how do they know what a Stegosaurus looked like? If they had ever seen Stegosaurus bones, they would not, according to our current thinking,
Yeah.
they shouldn't have known what the skin texture was or what it looked like fully skinned, you know, and moving about. And
Unless, of course, they
They
were
call-
partying with them.
Exactly. You know, and there's pictures of, you know, literally people partying with dinosaurs. Like there's a dinosaur dancing with these people. What
See,
what the
that-
F? What is that?
The reptiles too. Also, the ant people. I think there's multiple races that live, you know, subterranean.
So you think there's a Middle Earth?
A Middle Earth, or like the Hollow Earth theory. That
So what
there's-
is the Hollow Earth theory exactly? Because I've
that,
heard this.
that
but-
the Earth is actually hollow, and basically, if you were to, the two holes, the two ways you can get in are North and South Pole, and once you get in, basically gravity will reverse itself, and like now you'll be walking on like say like the inside of the Earth, but gravity will kind of like reverse itself, and there's another sun, like instead of being what we think it is, like hot iron and crap like that, there's actually another sun in the center of our Earth that generates the heat, and so there's a whole other Earth on the inside.
which is what creates the magma and whatnot.
Yeah.
Is that where that would come from? The second sun?
And the proof of this theory is, I forget his name, but there was some general who was flying, and he was flying over the North Pole, and he saw the hole.
I'll look it
So
up.
he flew into it. Yeah, just do Hollow Earth theory, and I'm sure his name will be like the first thing that comes up. And he flew into the hole, and he said he saw like 4 gray aliens and a saucer, and they said, "Oh, you're not ready to see this. You need to fly back to your people."
What?
Yeah, so he flew back, and he told the army about this. He was like, "Dude, there's another Earth. I flew in. There's another Earth in there." And so he basically he is the reason there's a Hollow Earth theory.
Whoa.
And that's where other races of aliens exist, and sometimes they come up through the rocks and say hello to us. I believe the reptiles have a taste for human flesh, and they really don't like us. They're like the most hostile. At least that's what I've heard the most from what the Greys tell us. Is they're like, if you think we're bad, like, dude, just stay. If you see a reptile, like, fucking run.
Is that where the whole theory of hell comes from, kind of a thing?
I would definitely think so, especially if you were to like fall down a hole.
Like a
and-
flesh eating,
and you
because
see a
hell's all
flesh-eating
about
reptile.
yeah, it's like all about like torture hell, you know. So
Yeah.
and being in the center of the earth, you know, where does that come from? Like, I don't know. Like, it's nowhere in our Bible, in the Catholic Bible. Is there a description of hell? You know?
No, they never really describe it much. They describe creatures coming from, like when they and stuff like that. But
and you know what trips me out too that you mentioned that, because you mentioned something about flesh-eating reptiles. You ever heard of I'm sure you have, Nostradamus?
Yeah, of course.
One of his have you ever heard his full prediction of the end of mankind as we know it?
No, which one's that?
It was a change in, or an infiltration of a beast within our people that craves human flesh, and it was a reptile, and like it just overtook the earth, and it was us
like
versus
V.
them. Very much like V, and that's what I thought, because when I first saw that, it was around the time that V the original came out,
Dude,
back in the
V,
80s.
The original, I love. My sisters and my brother and I all watching that, man.
I love it.
Oh, that shit scared me. And the only thing I liked about the new one was that they totally went with like the old school, like when the skin would get ripped off, they totally made it look all 80s and like
Nice.
the same kind of skin. I was like, oh, that's cool. They like kept it cheesy.
I love, if you haven't seen V the miniseries from the 80s,
The 80s, yeah.
pick up V the miniseries, and then it's V the final chapter, or the final battle, because if you just get the one DVD or movie, it ends without the ending. They put the final battle, which is like I think 6 episodes, on a whole separate DVD.
To make that Skrilla,
Just so you know,
gotta make that money.
gotta make that money, yo. Conspiracy theory right there, yo. On V, but totally worth the $5 I think it costs. It's like so cheap to get V. It's like, oh, that's one of my things too. Is on GeekSpeak, on the actual website. I do. They're called Bishops because that's my stage name. Blu-ray bargain bin, and so I go down to like Walmart and Target and try to find like the coolest, cheapest movies possible. So right now I'm getting them with like $3.99, and like
That's dope.
dude, I picked up Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Gene
Yeah, Gene Hackman.
I almost said Gene. No, it's not Gene Hackman.
Not Gene Hackman, Gene Wilder.
Yeah, thank you. I almost said Gene Hackman, then Gene Simmons, Gene Wilder. Thank you. The original Charlie for $3.99. That
That's not
one,
bad.
and what else did I pick up? Oh, Romeo and Juliet, the Baz Luhrmann
Oh, okay,
masterpiece.
yeah.
Baz Luhrmann. But going back to a little conspiracy theories about Willy Wonka. Did you hear this one? Do you know the story behind Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory? How that came to be, the movie?
Oh, the movie, like the original movie?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Mars Company created it to sell more candy bars.
Interesting.
Yeah, they backed the entire movie and got Gene Wilder involved, and he was like, I only do it if it's a musical. It's like, it was a musical. So it was strictly like, studio wants to make money, Mars wants to make money, let's make this movie some money. And that's what it was. And it turned out to be a big hit.
I want to sing, fool.
Yeah.
And they were like, okay.
You got it. You got it, Mr. Wilder. You're in our movie. And yeah, and that's what started also. Mars tried to make a long commercial, basically, and it turned out to be a humongous hit. And thank you for that, because that's one of my favorites. Like, I'll put that on trying to fall asleep. One of those movies. Yeah, but little conspiracy theory on Hollywood.
Yeah, well, I mean, hey, it's one, what you said it the best, it's just one giant commercial
Yeah.
for Mars.
Love it. They don't show his name. I'm looking up the Hollow Earth.
Hollow Earth theory.
Yeah.
Yeah, the pilot who flew into the
But it goes really...
the
it
North Pole.
It goes way far back. I'll actually just look up that.
Yeah, there's like way other. That's just the first time I'd ever heard it was.
Now the
this guy
Hopi...
had flown in and was like, "Oh yeah, there's a Hollow Earth." And
The
nobody
Hopi
believed
have
him.
that story, though, of the ant people coming from
Yeah,
the Hollow Earth and saving
Yeah.
us, saving our asses from a cataclysmic event. Because if we blow up the planet, that's their planet too.
yeah, exactly.
And so that's why they came and saved us, because we effed up before. And the whole Atlantis, theory of Atlantis.
Well, yeah, I mean that's I somewhat believe in that we're in like the third Earth, or even the Chinese believe that there are like 7 different cycles, and we're in the 7th.
The Mayans, this is a 4th cycle?
Yeah, I mean the Age of Aquarius. You could call it whatever you want, but yeah, I mean I think Atlantis was maybe the second one. I think the dinosaurs were the first,
Okay.
and I think that I don't know. One fun theory is when you look at Triceratops and Stegosaurus and Tyrannosaurus Rex. I mean, don't these look like battle beasts, like things you'd want to see in an arena, like fighting each other? And so maybe kind of the original idea was, dude, look at this great playground. We can raise these dinosaurs and we can, ship them off to other planets. And hell yeah, man, we got ourselves a freaking arena.
Good for labor.
Yeah, but then they were like, dude, these things are too dumb. And like, when one of them gets away, it's just fucking nightmare.
It's a headache.
And so how do we do it? Flood, bro. And they just flooded everything. And that was also the man that they had during the time of the dinosaurs. Couldn't mine gold well enough. So they said, you know what? Let's liquidate the whole project. Let's start over. Let's give them a little bit more knowledge. And then Atlantis happened. It was like, whoa. Now you guys have like Ioun stones flipping around your head with like everything from your driver's license to like your credit card.
Too far.
Okay, you guys have too much. We need to dumb them down a bit. And then so we kind of got liquidated again.
Got us.
And this is the third Earth.
Yeah. I mean, again, the proof is there. The stories are there. The landmarks are there. You can go out to the Caribbean where we think our capital was, and they're finding, sure damn enough, paved roads going off for miles, going out to sea.
Oh, yeah.
Why do you have a road going out to sea? There should be nothing there but ocean floor. So...
subterranean structures, they got stuff like that, too.
Richard Byrd.
There you go.
Vice Admiral, U.S. Navy. Now, think about that. Vice Admiral. It's not some Joe Schmo.
Exactly.
Not a captain, not a lieutenant, not a lieutenant commander. A Vice Admiral in 1947.
In the Navy.
In the Navy.
It was just too bizarre of a topic for that time period. I mean, he's like, oh, dude, it's a hollow Earth. And all of his superiors and I guess people below him as well all said, there's no way. No one could put faith in something like that. It was like talking about Christian nation. I mean, the United States in the 40s.
It's crazy.
Does it have a year on there? Was it post World War II?
1947.
Yeah, so pretty much right after World War II.
And after Roswell.
Yeah, and after Roswell.
So check this out. So wow, recently, I'm gonna say recently, probably.
Do you know
1960s?
the German Roswell? You know that one in the Black Hills.
Oh yeah.
Or the Black Forest, but also the Black Hills. Hitler's men got to it. It was in the late 30s when the Nazis, but right before World War II started.
That's why they had ray guns.
And the craziest thing that I saw about it on Ancient Aliens was there's that farmer who passed his story down where he was the first one who saw it, and two of the aliens were dead and one of them was still alive, and it was like crying over its like dead ones. Like he was like, you could see like emotion. Like you could tell that it was really bummed that they had crashed and that like its friends were dead. Like, great, I'm fucked. Like. But it was like just kind of like on its knees, like, oh my god, like what am I gonna do? Wow. And then the Nazis came in and took it, and then that's the Foo Fighters that our pilots saw during World War II were the adapted engines of these what do they call it, reverse engineered saucer that they found in Germany.
Because I heard that the Foo Fighters were a reverse engineered technology from that crash.
Yeah.
They were trying to bring down our planes. Like they were actual balls of energy that they were able to control and manipulate. They would go up and surround our planes, and they would short out our electrical systems.
Yep. And
a plane would just drop from the sky, and the Nazi Bell. Have you heard that one?
Yeah, the Bell. That was
man, that's crazy. And
it's like a corkscrew. It's like and it's just like this engine that we couldn't develop until when those I would say the like 70s, now. 80s. We were able to kind of get engines that could kind of do that.
Well, the Nazi Bell too. Well, I don't know if you know the full story, but basically there's a structure out in Germany that looks kind of like a Stonehenge, a circle of rocks. And the story goes is that this commander, right around the time when everything was falling to shit, he had control of this Bell project, and the Bell was rumored to be a time machine based on captured technology, and he could not be found, nor the technology. So, flash forward, I think it was 1960 something, in Arkansas, a farmer reports a bell-shaped object crashing from the sky into this Rendlesham Forest, it's called. And I just came to me Ancient Alien style.
Yeah.
Rendlesham Forest. And the U.S. government showed up, and it was a weird blue-green glowing object that they didn't know. People got close to it, and it was glowing out through the whole forest. And all of a sudden, an army showed up, cordoned off the place, and you're not able to talk about this. But that area is radioactive, and the farmer developed tumors on his hands from the pollution in the ground, and it was rumored to look like what the Nazi Bell looked like, so German commander said, "Screw this, I'm out of here,"
They're not ready for this technology. I'm going to skip forward to the 60s.
and crashed. Because again, think about it. He can activate the technology, but he needs a receiver on this end
Yeah.
to receive him. The war was over. They lost. There was no receiver, so he
Yeah.
was spinning out of control. For him, would have probably been a half a second.
The receiver will still be there.
Yeah, they'll win. I know they'll win. I have faith in my country.
Yeah.
And she ends up in Arkansas crashing, and probably dies on impact, for all we know. But crazy, dude.
Can you imagine that though? So if you're one of those soldiers or one of those top tier guys, so you go in and you find this guy and you find all of his notes and you're kind of like, that stupid asshole.
So this is what happened to you. You thought you were so
You see
smart.
this guy can fucking time travel.
You know what? And that's the thing too, is that we inherited. I don't know, a lot of people know this. We inherited all the Nazi scientists.
Well, we brought them all over. Yeah, we were.
They
like,
made up our
please.
NASA program.
Yeah, please come over. Develop the A bomb.
Yeah, we brought them over after we kicked their butts. We gave them a option, the scientists, to come over and develop our space program. And so, because of Nazi scientists, we were able to get to the moon before Russian scientists were.
Oh,
And
the Cold
so-
War. That was a fun time.
Oh my God! But it's called the Rendlesham Forest Incident. I had to
Okay,
actually
there you
look
go.
it up. And yeah, I think that was the one.
Does it have the translation on there? Because I think
Look.
they had said that the what
Oh,
that
no,
means is
no,
like
actually that's a different one.
okay, because one's called like the Black Forest or some crap like that.
Let me
It's
look
like-
it up because Nazi Bell crash. I'll look that one up because it has the whole link to it. Like my little iPad. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that thing's dope.
It's an iPad like keyboard thing that I get to like. I don't have to like type on my actual screen. Kecksburg UFO
When I had an
crash.
iPhone, I would sit here and like scroll
Kecksburg,
articles.
Pennsylvania, is where it was. Kecksburg, Pennsylvania
Okay.
UFO crash, and that's the one that was rumored to be the Nazi Bell.
He traveled time and came back in the 60s. That's freaking great.
Came back in the 60s, December 9th, 1965, and in Kecksburg, Pennsylvania.
At the start of Vietnam.
Dude, imagine. And then to think of the like what the scientists would have been thinking of. Like, okay, we create this machine, we know it goes in time, we don't know where it goes.
Yeah.
He's just gonna jump in it and say, all right, let's just go for a ride, see what
If
happens.
the wrong people are barking at your front door, would you jump in and push the button?
Pretty much, yeah. I wouldn't blame him, but you kind of got to think about that. It's like that's gonna have to happen someday, or
Yeah.
it's happening now, or it's already happened. So as far as we know, but someone has to take that leap of faith of like, okay, I'm gonna step in this machine, I'm gonna come out a minute in the future. Like that's a big leap of faith there. I'm not gonna sign up for that one. I'm all down for it once it's perfected. Like teleportation, please sign me up.
But didn't the 80s teach us anything with like the fly and stuff like that?
Well, technically, that's what Star Trek technology is based off of.
Yeah.
You know, the demolecularizing yourself. Thank you.
Basically, so
And reconstructing
yeah,
yourself.
so
again.
that science is saying that you're going to break me down to like all of my particles or all my atoms pretty much, and then you can take all of those atoms
And my clothes.
yeah, put them somewhere else, and then put them all
And
back
then
together.
reassemble them again in a different place. So technically, every time Kirk beams down, he's being killed. And then remade again.
So you're just like this ultimate. You're like a clone that retains your memories,
Basically.
and your personality.
Basically. So every time you teleport.
But a
you're
digital
cloning.
clone. I mean, it's not like when we cloned a sheep for the first
No,
time.
this
You
is
know,
all
like-
synthetic, made up from whatever that space dust is.
Well, kind of. I mean, downloading your consciousness into a computer program. It's. I mean, at least the way they've always made it look. It seems like it's very digital.
So technically, those guys can live forever. If they can just re-upload the last version that teleported down.
Oh, we lost Scotty. Bring him back up.
Let's go back 5 minutes. It's like one of those files on your computer when it f's up. You can go back 30 days. It's like, oh, I downloaded some malware. Let me go back 30 days.
Here's that porn site.
Yep, that's the one.
Yeah,
That happened.
interesting theory. I like that.
Yeah, so that's a Star Trek thing. But yeah, teleportation, I'm down for because tons of time wasted in driving back and forth. I hate it, especially here in LA.
Well, and traveling. I mean, to go see my wife's family in Northern California. Can you imagine just being able to grab my wife and kids and step into a door and then like step onto my like mother-in-law's front door steps.
You're there. Boom.
It's like, oh, good to see you, Grandma.
Yeah, I'm here. No, but going back to the pyramid thing, on a bigger scale, they were talking about like the reasons why they are finding them on exact locations is because they were part of a complete power network.
I have heard, a theory that they were that these are ancient, not nuclear reactors,
machines,
but
nuclear reactors,
power plants,
nuclear reactors. Yeah, because inside the pyramids, they're finding levels of mercury and copper and water level marks, as if the pyramids were flooded. Why would you need to flood the pyramid for any reason? But I don't know if you ever did that science project with the thumper, creating a thumper, that a hydroelectric machine. It's called a thumper, kind of in the same theory as bootlegging. You can create energy and combustion with enough water and pressure and the right kind of chemicals. So if you fill the pyramid, which has weird doors in certain places for certain
all
reasons,
kinds of like shafts and like air vents and
one of them pointing up towards Orion's belt.
Yep.
Why? It's too small to fit anything through. They had to put a robot in there to figure out, and then there's a damn door like halfway through it, like a copper door with a latch on the other side.
Yeah, it's just bizarre.
Why was there a latch on the other side of the door? Like you can pull it out, like something reached in and pulled it out. So they were saying is that with this technology, according to the ancient alien theories, is that if you had all these pyramids up and running, pumping this electricity, they would connect and create a net around the planet that a orbiting spaceship could connect with and power up with and get their juice from.
Dude, so these aliens came down here and they were like, look, so you guys are going to build us these pyramids like in all these different regions. We're going to give you we're going to have you mine the right chemicals. We're going to show you how to manipulate these chemicals. And then we're set, dude. We got a freaking infinite resource of power. And that's what I think one of the Atlantis things was. When you look at the descriptions of Atlantis, it totally talks about that kind of stuff.
Infinite power.
Just infinite power, but having these planes that are just not using like any power, just like flying around other buildings and things like that, like blimps. And they talk about technology that we don't even have yet today.
Yeah.
And but it's like barking up that same tree of where this giant connected network, like kind of like almost the internet, but for power.
Yep.
Powering their houses and everything.
Oh yeah, the best part that I love about this whole ancient aliens and the pyramids thing is that the ones in the Mayan pyramids are made of a special rock that conducts electricity, and it runs through the entire length of the city, and it's not from that area. So they imported this rock specifically for its conductive properties, and sure enough, they're running tests on it, and they found that there's scorch marks as if there was electricity hitting these parts of the ground where supposedly people were living. And it's like, no, they weren't living there. That was a landing strip.
There's no way.
Yeah, they were hovering, spaceships were coming in, hovering above, getting their power, and gold was a big part of it. And all those societies we know were all about the gold. When Columbus got here, he was like, they're covered in gold. Like, what's up with all this gold?
Yep.
Gold was everywhere. And
well, no, the Egyptians, I mean, they were, you look at all the pictures and everything, I mean, just gold. Yeah. One thing I just remembered actually about the pyramids is, there's these giant like troughs that have been like dug that look like water could have been in them at some point, and one theory is that it's some kind of aquatic extraterrestrial that's like ship like landed, and then like it needed maybe like water and stuff like that, and they have a lot of stuff that's like near the Nile, these like crazy, I don't know, they're just these giant troughs that are dug, but like huge, like not for like any animal, like for something massive,
like moving a lot of water in.
Yeah.
Like I would say, definitely, the pyramids were way more than what we give them credit for.
Yeah.
Again, looking across the planet, why? Why when we build something as a society, it has a purpose to it. If we're going to invest in our dollars, $50 billion on this complex, it's going to serve a major purpose, because we're throwing manpower, food, all this resource to build this. It's got to have a reason, or else we're not going to do it for art, and we're not going to do it for one king, because no king would ever look at his I don't think there would be a more selfish king that would look at something like, I'm going to build a pyramid for my tomb. Like,
Yeah.
That just makes no sense. You know, and there's no bodies buried there. There's never been a body found in the pyramids. You know,
in the tombs and stuff, but not in the pyramids.
Yeah, the pyramids themselves are nothing. The Valley of the Kings is where the kings are buried.
Yeah, that's like where you find bodies.
Yeah, that's where the bodies are. The pyramids are not tombs. Those are machines. And yeah, we need to, as a people, and that's what I love about the ancient aliens, is like we need to stop like believing in so much of what we're told and believe in what we know.
Yeah.
You know, it's just inherently knowledge. Do you take commercial breaks during your show? You were looking at that? Is that what you're looking at?
I'm not wearing my glasses, and so I can't even see like what time it is.
It's 8:00 on the button here on Excite Radio.
So I might we can keep talking, and I might jump over here, and I might drag and drop a couple of
Wanna
commercials,
do a commercial break?
and then we can
All right.
take a quick commercial break.
Let's take a commercial break and refill, because it's been fun talking ancient aliens, because that's what I dig the most. And if you guys are enjoying the sultry sounds of my voice, that's not my radio voice, I'll be on live tomorrow on Geek Speak TV, which is right here on Excite Radio, KXSR.net, at 5 to 7. And tomorrow, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about yet. I'm writing my show right now as we speak.
You're on 5 to 7 on Friday nights.
On Fridays, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely talking about some current funny stuff. Oh, hey, commercial break. Let's do that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Oh, there we
I'll
go.
fix it. I heard him talking. I'm like, hey, commercial break.
We offer direct insurance billing to save you the headache of paperwork. H2O Water Damage and Mold are family owned and operated, and we offer free estimates. We pride ourselves on being a trustworthy, elite company that excels at what we do because we love what we do. Our primary mission is to provide you with outstanding service and excellent workmanship while remaining professional, courteous, and honest. For more information, visit h2owaterdamage.com or call us at 805-907-6213. H2O Restoration and Mold Damage Specialists.
So that last segment was brought to you by the people over at Ultrasone. Ultrasone specializes in headphones. That's what they do all day, every day. It's headphones. They have a day-to-day commitment that leads to explicit expert knowledge. Their constant development leads to high-quality headphones that are equipped with nothing but the latest technology. They invented the S-Logic natural surround sound and ultra-low emissions that are absolutely unique to what it is that they do. So whether you are a professional audiophile, whether you are a producer, or whether what you are is somebody you've got your iPhone, you've got your smart tablet, and what you really need is their great Pico in-ear headphones. Ultrasone, that's Ultra, SONE.com, and find a way to listen to music in a way that you've never heard it before.
Don't forget to subscribe to our iTunes podcast. Simply visit our shows page and select your favorite show, or search for your favorite show in iTunes.
At Healthy You Herbs, we are an authorized new body distributor. We offer only 100% all natural herbal products with no additives or preservatives at the lowest possible prices. We pride ourselves on providing the best products for your well-being and to ensure you have access to essential supplements vital to the human body. Visit us online at healthyyouherbs.com. Healthy You Herbs, your health depends on us. Seeking a home for your website and require managed services? What are managed services? You need to make a change to your website but don't know how to do it? Don't have a content management system installed or don't understand how to use it? Managed hosting is the way to go. With XMLA Managed Website Hosting, you just email us or give us a call and we will update your website for you. Packages start at only $24.95 per month, and it's only $5 for each additional gigabyte of space. And you can host and serve your site on a fast, reliable platform with complete control. Visit xmlahost.com for complete information.
Norman's Rare Guitars, the one-stop shop for all the celebrities, rock stars, and wannabes.
Check out them there, Norman's Rare Guitars. It's a pretty damn good website. They got a whole bunch of cool brands of guitars that you can buy.
Check out normansrareguitars.com.
My name is Mighty, last name Poise, and I'm riding on a mountaintop on my trusty horse. I never leave my radio at home. I've Excite Radio on my phone. Listen live, interact, stay connected.
ExciteRadio.com.
Zoo FX, creative specialist. We specialize in motion graphics, visual effects, 3D animation, DVD menu design, and professional website development for motion picture, broadcast, and the professional who is looking for the next level of discovery. Call us for an appointment at area code 818-888-0200 or visit us online at thezoofx.com and come see what we have to offer you and your company. When was the last time you've been to the zoo? Zoo FX.
Making their debut to the world, Mall Alternative Rock and Roll with frontman Chris Young, conquering the mastery of their music and capturing the essence of pure adrenaline. Visit them online at mallrock.com for upcoming shows, and don't forget to pick up the new self-titled debut album, available anywhere music is sold.
Hey, you shitmouth. You want to hear some more shit? I mean, absolute shit. Then turn on the FM radio because it's all shit. Internet radio is where it's at. You're already way cooler than anyone else you know. Good work, sir. Excite Radio. Listen to the future. Why don't I have any friends? Why doesn't anyone like me? Why was I beaten unmercifully just for walking into that kid at school? Because you're a geek. Attention, nerds, geeks, goofs, dorks, and dweebs. You now have friends.
That's right, you heard us.
Want a friend? Come join us live every Friday at 5 Pacific on Excite Radio. Unveil and expose geek life on Geek Speak. Because if we don't, who the fuck will? Call in via voice, Skype, or instant message. You can now watch us live on Ustream and subscribe on iTunes. Be there or be a fourth dimensional rectangular object with 4 parallel areas that intersect to form a shape. Listen to the future. Listen to the future. Listen to the future. Listen to the future.
It's time to build your website. But are you feeling overwhelmed on what to do next? What's the first step? What do? It's simple. Just give us a call. At Excite Media Los Angeles, we specialize in professional website development. For over 14 years, we have created well over 1,000 custom online experiences. From small businesses to enterprise, we can handle projects of any size. Need a mobile app? Want your site to do something unique? Looking to revamp and revive your existing site? We've got you covered. For more information, visit our website at xmla.com. or call us at 818-985-2464. Excite Media Los Angeles, Web Development.
If you miss a show, you can always listen on our site or subscribe to our podcast. You can also watch past shows on our YouTube channel. We're back and better than ever. Get ready for the new Excite Radio and listen to the future. You can now hear this show on multiple stations around the world. Thank you to our many partner stations and syndicates.
Let me get in that chair.
Switch. This music is insane.
We're playing some music with chairs. Letting people listen to A Journey of Hymns by
Music
Becky
with
Shaw.
Journey.
That's the lovely instrumentals behind us. Do you do that? Do you ever announce who's playing on your show? Like,
Yeah, usually like halfway through the song, I'll like come in and be like, "Oh yeah, and by the way,
oh yeah, that's them.
you're listening to these people."
Yeah, that's Becky Shaw. I never heard of her.
Becky Shaw.
On the pianos. A Journey of Hymns. Sounds nice. It's very soothing. I think my mom would like that. You should enjoy that a lot, actually. There you go. There's our mic. There's our mic level. Boom, baby.
Boom.
So we're back. That was a nice little break.
Commercial break. I usually only take one commercial break.
You're hardcore, man.
I've only done that. Like when I did an hour show, like 30-minute mark, 5 minutes commercials, come back.
No, I'm constantly billing the commercials. No,
like commercial break,
we do
commercial break.
we do like 25 minutes and then take like a 2-minute break and then another 25. Probably every 25.
Yeah.
You know, because I tend to have a lot of guests on usually. I tend to. Tomorrow I'm not having any guests on. So it's going to be all me, just jibber jabbering about the latest in geek this week. Not much has gone
this
on
week.
Not much has gone. Brad Pitt got punked. Did you hear about that?
I heard about it, but I haven't seen the video. Is there a video? I want to see it.
No video yet.
I
But
wanna
I
see a video.
really hope somebody. It was at the LA premiere of Maleficent, his wife's flick, and I kind of think it was a little sucky, actually, how it
Really?
went down, because this douche who did it, he's like one of these he's like a Tom Green type of dude. He's trying to aspire to be a Tom Green
No, okay.
type of thing, or like a Sacha Baron Cohen was with like.
Yeah, like I'm gonna fuck with some celebrities.
Yeah, so he's been like, he was climbing under America Ferrera's dress, and he grabbed Leonardo DiCaprio's crotch, and the things that he's doing aren't really funny. They're assault. you
Yeah,
know,
just
literally.
lewd, yeah.
He's assaulting
Just
people.
lewd,
Yeah,
yeah.
and so yesterday or today, he punched Brad Pitt
He just punched Brad Pitt.
Straight punch.
I'm just gonna punch him.
in front of his kids.
Oh, see, that's effed up.
In front of his kids, yeah. And apparently, according to the report that I read, Brad Pitt was injured by the hit. Like, he just cocked him, and
Boom.
It doesn't matter who you are. If you don't see a punch coming,
And it comes hard.
and it comes hard, and it hits you just right, you're gonna go down.
Yeah.
Like, you're a professional fighter, or any no matter what your name is.
Everyone
you
has
know.
a button. Yeah.
Everyone has a button, and this guy cocked Brad Pitt, and he went to the hospital apparently, and the guy was charged with battery. And I hope he gets put away. Actually, I hope they throw the book at him, because, I mean, these celebrities are people, for one.
Yeah.
And like, when we're doing what we're doing, we get to know each other. Get to know some of these people, and realize, like, I got to interview some pretty amazing. Like, Kevin Costner is a dude.
Yeah.
He's very much a dude. He drops a lot of f-bombs. He says shit a lot. He talks like a like a dude, like in a bar. Like, oh fuck, dude. Like, he'll say stuff like that, and I'm like, whoa, you're Kevin Costner, Academy Award winner, and so
fuck, dude.
yeah, fuck, and he'll say things like that in the press conference, with other reporters around, and it's like, whoa, okay, you're just a dude. So Brad Pitt is just a guy. He's 50 years old. First, he's not young. And he was with his kids at his wife's premiere, being there for the fans. And, that's going to cause a lot of celebrities to kind of like, you know what? I just don't want to put myself in that kind of environment where it's not safe to go to a premiere.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's sending out the
Ruining
wrong-
it.
Yeah.
Ruining it for everyone.
Ruining it for everybody, And Brad Pitt's a nice guy. Everyone who's met him has said he's a nice person.
My brother is a firefighter for Beverly Hills Fire Department, and the quick story that he has about Brad Pitt was he was doing the red carpet, just making sure everything's okay. And when he was injured, he was like a year ago. He came in with like a cane. It's like the Academy Awards or something, and somebody wanted an autograph. So my brother like picked him up and like lifted him up so that he could give an autograph. And my brother was like, "Dude, guy's totally chill, like super chill head." So that makes me upset that some guy would try to profit off of punching Brad Pitt.
And he's from the Ukraine. He's a Ukrainian comedian. I won't even say his name. But and it's like, I don't know how they do humor in Mother Russia. I don't know how they do, their humor.
I bet that shit is hilarious to them though. They're like, "Dude, you want to see a video of Brad Pitt getting cold cocked by like so and so?"
No, we say it like that. Yeah, it's kind of fun.
And so like over there, it's like a viral video on YouTube.
You know what? I could see that happen. Those sick bastards. I could see that happening. Because people, again, our humor, like they say British humor, that actually has some letting the dogs out, that all has some humor to it, depending on where you're from. Like Jeff Foxworthy. How do you explain that kind of humor? It's definitely geographical. So
That's very true.
yeah, so like I don't think George Lopez is funny at all, But back to the point, they might think that shit's hilarious in Soviet Ukraine or wherever this guy's from, but not here in the States. And there's a lot of other celebrities I would like to see punched. Why Brad Pitt?
See, is that like maybe we just don't know it yet, but there's like a TV show over there, and it's just like
Punch a celebrity?
yeah, dude. You know, I had always had an idea for a documentary called "Shoot the Paparazzi," where like you roll up with like celebrities with a paintball gun and like shoot the paparazzi.
Oh, that would
and
be
film
awesome.
their reactions.
Well, there was a show, I don't remember, back a couple of years ago where they messed with paparazzi.
Yeah, but then they probably just went to the courts and got more rights.
Well, no, do you know what it was like? For instance, I remember one of them was Nicole Richie had shown up in public with a pregnant belly, and she was dating some skater dude or whatever, and like it went on for like a long time. Oh, Britney Spears actually showed up with like a guru, like an Indian guru, right? And he was there and they would make public appearances for like a week straight. And it was this TV show where the celebrities were punking the paparazzi. So the paparazzi would make up all kinds of outrageous stories about why Britney Spears was rolling with the guru. And then it turns out like a week later, we got you guys. This was just a big joke to show you guys you're all idiots. You know, it was a brilliant idea. I loved it. You know, I wish more celebrities would have stuck with it because I think, you know, you take a little bit of your power back by doing that, you know, and you know, you don't like, I understand, I think it was Daniel Radcliffe wore the same clothes every single day when he was filming Harry Potter, so that paparazzi wouldn't have a unique picture of him. You know? And it's like, you know, you're just doing crazy stuff like that to kind of take your power back a little bit, you know. But at the same time, it's like punching celebrities, not funny. Celebrity punch show.
Well, another idea I had up that same vein, instead of shooting them with paintball guns, would be to just totally do it comedic and show up and you're the paparazzi, but then pick one of them, one who's like famous. Like say some guy's name is like Chris, and be like, Chris, what are you doing here in LA today, Chris, blah, blah, and just have like a crew with you all taking pictures of him and make him the celebrity
for the day.
Yeah, and like follow him around and do a documentary that way as well.
Turn on the paparazzi.
Yeah.
That's like me myself. I really can't hate on them too much because I understand that most of them are trying to do a job, you know. But I don't like the ones that, you know, go into like the people's backyards and hunt them down on the streets, you know.
Yeah.
You know, like premiere events, you know, events and things like that. Yeah, absolutely. Do your job, you know. But when they're out shopping with their kids or, you know, trying to have a meal, it's kind of, you know, just decency. You know?
Yeah.
Didn't your mom raise you right? They bother people when they're eating their food. But yeah. So that's my 2 cents on it. Did you see recently on Facebook? Are you a big Facebook person?
I'm on Facebook. I wouldn't say I'm a big Facebook person.
I saw one of the most asinine posts, and I don't know how you feel about it, but I didn't actually do any more reading because I saw it. I was like, this is so stupid. I didn't want to click on it. They don't get my view on their page. It was a rehashing of 9/11, saying that there was no actual airplanes that hit the buildings. It was all CG, computer generated airplanes and explosives. Like we exploded.
Like we just let off explosions in the buildings and they fell.
And we put in CG airplanes that went into the buildings. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the? Really, people? What do you think of that?
That is a conspiracy. The whole like gold being underneath the Twin Towers and George Bush like stealing $1 billion in gold.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't heard that one.
Oh, you haven't heard this one? Oh yeah, how there was
Tell me this one. I haven't heard this one.
There was gold, you know, underneath the Twin Towers.
Why?
It's just where we had a bunch of gold, and apparently it got moved the day before 9/11 on 9/10 to that building that randomly fell like across the street, like Tower 7. And so the theory is that George W. Bush basically sacrificed 3,200 of his own people to turn a buck. And that's basically what I got from. There's a couple movies that touch on it. Zeitgeist does. What was it called? Spare Change, I think is the other one.
I saw Zeitgeist. I missed that part about the gold being another building though. And didn't hear about that.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. And again, I went up past them, you know, and I definitely don't think that those attacks were completely Al-Qaeda orchestrated. You know, especially with the curious movement of the Bin Laden family around that time.
I mean, it's a huge conspiracy around that whole thing.
And it was very true, you know, that the Bin Laden family was active in American society. You know, they have scholarship foundations set up in different colleges, and You know, their family was based here. A lot of them were here, but they were immediately moved, you know, to secure locations, you know, and the Bin Ladens and the Bushes were family friends, you know, and so to think that our country wouldn't do something like that, you know, we just have to look back in our history, and we've done it before, and we did it with Pearl Harbor. You know, I strongly believe that we allowed those attacks to be carried out.
Yeah.
Because our people were not down for that war at that moment in time, because we already had one war like that and we were suffering from it still.
Yeah, we were like, dude, we already jumped into a war.
Yeah, and who was it?
Lost a bunch of people.
Woodrow Wilson. You know, that was his campaign slogan, you know, and his victory speech was he kept us out of war.
Yeah.
You know, because our people did not want it. But then when you kill so many of us, look what happened to our society after 9/11. You know, just like Pearl Harbor, once you dropped those bombs on Pearl Harbor, you had hundreds of thousands of men enlisting in the Marines to go fight in World War II. And then same thing in 9/11. You know, I myself was a college student at the time, you know, and I wanted to enlist, but I had a family, and I was like, I would totally enlist if I didn't have a family, you know, and that brash moment of patriotism lasted with me for about 6 months. So I definitely would have enlisted and gone off to boot camp and found myself in a foreign country, then realizing, God damn, what did I do?
Yeah.
Like many of my friends who come back, you know, say, it's like, yeah, you know, we went off thinking we were fighting for one reason, and we're not fighting for that reason, and not anymore. You know, and like, I mean, I have a young son who's 13, and he's grown up in war.
Yeah.
Only knowing war. And I forget that sometimes, you know, and it's like, he wanted to join the Marines for a long period of time. He's like, I don't want to be a Marine. I'm like, what?
No,
son, no. He's like, well, I want to fight. I'm like, yeah, I understand. And I was like, where is this coming from? You know, and he's been fed propaganda.
Definitely.
Refined propaganda, you know, since the time he was an infant, you know, and my son knows what an AR-15 is and an assault rifle is, and how to reload and how you have to reload and how to clear a room properly, you know. How does a 13-year-old boy know how to clear a room with tactical, you know, precision, you know? And now that we have this technology of robotics, have you seen these robots that we've created?
I've seen, yeah.
These RoboCops that we have out there?
Yeah.
That basically, if you've seen the RoboCop movie, they have these unmanned drone robots that are fully capable of reaching 35 miles per hour sprinting speed, that have fully articulated arms, and you can control them with a PS3 controller. So now these
dope.
kids that can, and have you seen modern kids play these first-person shooter games?
Oh, yeah.
You can have the kid who's already mentally programmed to clear a room, you know, give him a PS3 controller and a monitor, you know, with the POV of his real-life drone.
Yeah.
Now you have an army of unmanned drones fighting your wars for you, with these PS3 geeks sitting back there, you know.
That's Ender's Game.
Pretty much.
I mean, that was when I read that book. I was like, dude, they're already doing that.
We're there.
I read that book when I was like 15. It was like the early 90s.
Yeah,
man.
And now we're there.
Oh yeah.
Now it's happening now.
Oh, we're totally there.
Yeah. And
I remember after 9/11, the SOCOM like came out, and they were like freaking pushing that shit. And my brother-in-law, and I would all be playing that. And my nephew was playing it.
I'll one up you on this because I'm a big gamer. Right after 9/11, and I can't remember when I saw this, I was like, wow. And that it actually is what turned me off. Turned off my patriotism button, to tell you the truth. U.S. Army came out with a game called U.S. Army.
Yeah.
And did you ever see that game?
I did. I did.
So when you played that game, you basically enlisted in the Army as a private, and you went through the whole enlisting process.
Yeah.
And then you read your manual, a small little field manual, and then you went out and you fought in this first-person shooter game.
Yeah.
But everything you did had a reason for it. You know, if you wanted to earn your marksman badge, you wanted to learn your rifleman badge, you had to do specific things that the Army would normally train soldiers to do.
Yeah,
so basically, you were getting a precursor, a pre-education, a pre-military education.
Yeah.
Playing a video game.
I remember everyone talking about it. They're like, dude, this game is just like trying to get you to enlist in the Army. You should play it. And I was like, all right, sweet.
Yeah. And it was a great game. Like they spared no expense. It was on the level of Counter-Strike and Rainbow Six. You know,
Dude, Counter-Strike was the shit.
Yeah, Counter-Strike was the shit. I was talking about this actually because did you ever play Rainbow Six?
Yeah.
Came out
a little bit, very little bit. More Counter-Strike than
More
anything.
Counter-Strike. Well, the first Rainbow Six I played in like 95. Oh my God.
Wow.
I remember that because I was like, just graduating high school. And what I loved about it was its realism. Because Rainbow Six, Tom Clancy story, you know, if you guys have read the books. But Rainbow Six, the video game, was based off of his characters. And they're a special ops team that are a worldwide peacekeeping organization. And in the first game, there was no online play. It came like a few months in Rainbow Six 2 came out, like a few months later. With the first one, you just had to plan your attack into a room. So you had hostages in a warehouse. You had a team of 4, 2 teams of 4, and you would plan, literally, you know, stop at this door on command, beta. Both teams are going to break into the room and clear the room with smoke grenades. Totally training you for military service.
Did you ever play Delta Force or Delta Force 2?
No, I didn't.
Delta Force 2, I think, was my favorite on PC.
Yeah.
I played the hell out. That one was hard because that was one of the first ones where if you got hit once by like anything, like someone shoots a pistol at you and it hits you in the knee, your character's done. You have to start back over at the beginning too.
Yeah, Rainbow
like
Six.
No checkpoints.
Yeah.
Like,
Rainbow Six, same thing. It was because those were the rules. It was like in the real world, you get shot, you're down.
Yeah.
They're not going to come back for you right now. They're going to come back for you after the mission's over. Hopefully you survive.
I think that's what I liked about Counter-Strike too, is you could pop up and just hit someone with like an M16 right in the chest, and you just see be like, and you just know that fool is like iced.
That's what I appreciate about those games too, is that this sense of realism, you know. And I liked games like later Rainbow Six versions, because if you shot somebody in the knee, they actually went down and weren't dead. They could still fire, but they would just be on a laying position. Yeah, so that was pretty cool.
Like Left 4 Dead, like when you're like down and you're like, oh, I'm dying, or like Borderlands, and you're just like.
That's why I hate games like Halo. Games like Halo drive me nuts because you shoot somebody 80 times, they're not going down. They shoot you once, you're dead. It's like, what the? That's not fair. That's not even real.
It's because they tested for wind. They were like this, and they were just like,
gotcha.
Pah,
Speaking of, did you ever play Battlefield 1942, the original?
No.
PC? Oh,
no.
God. That game still today is like stellar because it used, for the first time, it used real world physics, you know, in its engine. So if you had a guy running at 200 yards, you know, and you led him properly and at the right angle, you know, the bullet would actually in real time travel and fall down and meet him at a certain point. You know, you had a plan for that.
Yeah.
You know, and so if you shot too high, you know, the bullet would go too way far over him. Shot too low, it would go under him and hit him in the body. You know, if you want to go for a headshot, you had to be just the right angle to like meet him at that certain endpoint pact and get the headshot. Oh man, it was so awesome. Loved that game. And then on the same map, as you're sitting there shooting, you would have tanks and you had airplanes you can get into, and you jump in the airplane and somebody can get in your back and be your tail gunner, and you would fly around on this map where your friends are down there holding down a bunker.
That sounds so rad,
dude. And you was
like,
oh yeah, dude, it was so epic. And you would do like the Battle of Midway.
Sweep them from the east again.
They would do like huge, and then they just came out with bombers, like B-52 bombers. So you had side gunners and tail gunners, and
could you get all Dr. Strangelove and jump on a bomb and ride it to the bottom?
You actually could jump out of the airplane and parachute down.
Oh, that'd be so
yeah,
dope.
you could bail out if you're taking too much damage. And dude, it got so sick because they came out with an all airplane expansion, and you could land your airplane on a aircraft carrier and get repairs and take off again. And oh my god, it was just, and it used real world flying physics. So if you actually had a throttle and a joystick, you did a lot better because you could cut and maneuver. Mine actually had the throttle on the joystick, so I was still able to do all kinds of crazy maneuvers, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed the flying games the most because, like X-Wing TIE Fighter.
Oh, dude.
Did you play that game?
Yeah, I played the hell out of that game. I played X-Wing, I played TIE Fighter. I think those are the two main flying ones that I played.
Yeah, man. Oh.
TIE Fighter was the first one where you could go like anywhere, though. Like you could just be like, all right, let's see you guys.
Yeah, I'm not going to do this mission. You guys handle it.
I'm just going to fly into space.
Oh, my gosh. I really hope they bring it back, because have you heard of Steam?
Steam as in the video game like website?
Yeah, online video game website, yeah. Yeah, they have a lot of old school LucasArts games on there. Like I just downloaded on May the 4th, they had a special 60% off of all LucasArts games. So I got like Dark Forces and Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy on my Mac. Yeah,
That's dope.
yeah, they have both PC and Mac versions. They didn't have all of them for Mac, but they had most of them for Mac. Like I got The Force Unleashed, for the Mac.
I still have that
for like $3.
for my Xbox.
Yeah, for $3. So anyway,
that's really good.
Steam's got some pretty dope games. So I'm hoping they come up with an X-Wing TIE Fighter video game because, dude, I was telling my buddies about it because I'm getting the tattoo from TIE Fighter. Do you remember that?
Interceptor.
Do you remember that?
Heck yeah.
The when you in TIE Fighter, if you completed certain missions, because as you're flying a TIE Fighter, you play the Imperial pilot in the Imperial Navy. So Darth Vader would come on your comm sometimes and be like, "You must inspect that package," and you go and inspect it, and you would get special credit from the Emperor. And if you did enough of these, he would give you a tattoo. So in the end, the tattoo that was finalized was like this crazy epic Imperial star with like these scythe horns coming out of it, and it was pretty badass. So I'm gonna get that.
I remember that. I remember
Do you
that
remember
game.
that? I'm getting that tattoo.
I remember my neighbor had it. My neighbor, Zach Johnson.
You remember his name?
Yeah, I remember his name. Zach and Ryan.
You know what, though? That's a life-changing game. I'm not going to lie.
They had all the Star Wars games. That's where I was always like, I'm going to go over to Zach and Ryan's house. They've got the Star Wars video games. And
my buddy Mike Miller, I remember him. He had the Star Wars game, and he had it on PC. And
always PC.
Yeah, he had a started up...
like a 486.
Yeah, he had a startup disc. I remember that. Like, he had to put a startup disc for the CD-ROM. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, you got to put a startup disc for this one. I'm like, oh, okay. What is a startup disc? And that's why I learned about startup discs.
Yeah.
And after I played that game for like 4 hours, he got mad. He's like, get off my freaking computer, man. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go home. I went home, couldn't sleep, because I was so damn excited. Woke up next morning with the most elaborate lie I could tell my parents about how I needed a computer because I had a big research paper due and scholarships were on the line. And I had to do this paper, and there was no scholarships on the line. And so
that's dope.
That's why parents be involved in your kids' life so you know whether or not they have scholarship offers or not. So they bought me
and not just one joystick and some headphones.
And they bought me a computer the next day. Yeah, with the joystick and the headphones. And it's like, this makes no sense. And I'm like, yeah, I need it for studying and for relaxation later too. And I need this game as well. So put that on the list. So yeah, and that's how I got my first computer, my first PC, and X-Wing.
And X-Wing.
And X-Wing, all on the same day, man. That was a whopper of a lie. But, hey, man, I got my X-Wing. That's what matters. Great game.
I think the TIE Interceptor was my favorite.
The favorite spaceship to fly?
Yeah. The one that was all like...
It is my favorite TIE fighter, but I think my favorite overall fighter is the A-Wing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The A-Wing, because it was kind of like a TIE fighter, except it had shields.
Yeah.
Which most TIE fighters, for those who don't know, don't have shields.
No shield.
Not until you get to the TIE Defender and TIE Interceptors do you get shields. But it's fast. It's a one-man machine, and it's kind of like it's like the jet fighter of the Rebel Alliance. The X-Wing is like the workhorse.
Yeah.
You know, where like the A-Wing is like the single person like dogfighter.
Yeah.
You know.
It's like the little jet.
Yeah. And because the Y-Wings were the bombers, and they were big and clumsy and slow, you know, and the B-Wings the same thing, you know.
Well, B-Wings are super big and slow.
Yeah, but powerful. Yeah, and dude, I just love that game because you could really just go anywhere you wanted to, and then I liked how they built into it the complexity of actual flying, of like having in the Star Wars universe, because you had to take care of your shields, you know.
Yeah.
Remember that, because you had to make sure your shields were charged up enough if you take too many hits. And then you had to like allocate laser memory versus shield power, and if you get damaged, your dashboard would mess up and you couldn't see where you were flying anymore. And dude, it was just so awesome.
No, that game was really dope.
And it was ahead of its time. You could target like the engines of or the shield generators of a Star Destroyer and take out the shields. And
yeah.
Oh, dude, if you're a Star Wars fan, like we got to do something about that. That game needs to be redone and released. Because it's solid. I mean, that's the only reason I picked up Star Wars Galaxies back in 2002.
Redo an X-Wing, Y-Wing, A-Wing, and TIE Fighter game.
Did you ever, did you get into Star Wars Galaxies?
Yeah.
Dude, that was an awesome game. Because the open-ended space combat
Oh yeah.
I really enjoyed that. That was kind of similar to what X-Wing and Y-Wing was, but not quite.
No, not as close.
X-Wing TIE Fighter was still boss.
Especially for its time.
Oh, dude. And then they had it was the first, and still, the only, I think one of the best multiplayer fighting games, fight simulator games, on the PC. The multiplayer version of it. It was the first.
Oh yeah.
Ever multiplayer fight simulator game, and it was solid. Like you could play. I think was it 16 or 8?
Probably just 8.
I think it was just 8. Yeah, 4 and 4. No, I think it was bigger than that.
Dude, I remember playing Perfect Dark with 2 N64s hooked up to 2 TVs. 8 controllers.
Dude, I played
4-on-4 Perfect Dark was like.
Did you ever play Pod Racer?
Oh, Pod Racer was pretty dope.
Because you could hook up 2 controllers.
Yeah.
And you can actually have like left engine control, right engine control. Yes, you actually like pod racing. Yeah, my buddy has that in his living room. The actual pod racing video game.
Oh, he has like the actual like thing. Because I did it with the control, but you.
Yeah, he has an actual like arcade video game. He sit down
that's
and,
so
like,
dope.
You fly it. Yeah, he's a big geek with money. Geeks with money, man. Crazy. I'm a geek with no money, so I do everything on a budget. Yeah. That's why I'm on Steam. I do everything on a budget. Now I'm actually gonna check out a new video game coming out. A buddy of mine sent me a free code for a up and coming iPad game that I'm supposed to review for tomorrow's show. Oops.
Nice.
I like how I remind myself of stuff on other people's shows. Like, oh, I got something to do tomorrow that I totally forgot about.
Got to review
just right
a
now.
video game.
Yeah, it's a hard life being a geek. I must say, I was at a high school last Thursday, giving a speech on a panel to high school kids about what it is to be a person in the media. I guess it was the topic, media entertainment. And I was like, ugh. So I came in and like one of the guys is the makeup artist for Rob Zombie movies and Sons of Anarchy. Actually, I gotta call him too. He wants to be on the show. And another guy's like he makes iPhone apps, for Microsoft. So not Microsoft, for Apple. I said Microsoft. I said Apple apps for Microsoft. For Apple, I meant. And then there's me, right? And then of course, being an artist, they put the panel at 8 o'clock in the morning, which doesn't fly for most artists, right? So I show up like 10 minutes late to this hour-long panel. so I like slide in. I'm like, don't pay attention to the third person sitting down in front of this whole room of kids, and so they're like, so let's catch up on who you are. And I was like, oh God, can't we just keep going with those 2 guys? So anyway, so I'm trying to wake up, still have my cup of coffee, and they're like, so what do you do? I'm like, well, I wake up in the morning and I check Facebook and I make sure my posts for Facebook are going up, and then I play some video games, and then I write about those video games, and then I watch a movie, and then I write about that movie, then I play with some toys, and then I usually have some more coffee, and the kids, I just see the kids' eyes like slowly like, are you serious? This is what you do? I'm like, oh, don't get me wrong, I'm poor, I'm broke, I don't actually make a lot of money doing this, but it is a job that you could do. And I told him, I go, that's the trade. I go, you can go be a doctor or a lawyer and you can make lots of money and have a big house, and you will definitely do that, being a doctor or a lawyer. But you trade time, your creativity. You don't have a lot of time to be creative in those jobs. You don't have a lot of time to do fun stuff in those jobs. You work a lot, and then you go and you die someday. And that's what I told these kids. I go, so, I worked in corporate America. I've done the hard jobs and the suck jobs and the time-space jobs like Jan Lu is talking about. And it does suck, and, I much realize that I'd rather be poor and happy and do something that I love to do every day than have tons of money and be miserable at a job behind a desk listening to some douchebag telling me what he wants to do, and making somebody else rich, and it's just no fun, and there's no loyalty in corporate America nowadays. You were just a number, and they will. And so I'm telling these kids this, just pretty much the same way I'm telling you, and these kids are like, And I look at the teacher, and I'm like, I'm sorry if this is what you expected, but I can't lie to children, and I'm telling them the truth. I go, I'm happier now than I ever been working for. I worked for SBC, I worked for Earthlink, which was a real cool company to work for. I worked for Disney, and I've worked on pretty big and a video game company even, and it sucks because when you work for these dream jobs like the video game company, they moved to Austin, and it's like. I was here making long-term plans for this company, and the company wasn't making long-term plans with me.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, our plans obviously weren't running on the same railroad here, so I'm going to look for another job, and so the most important thing I probably tell people is like, I get to play video games and review them and write about them and meet celebrities and write about them, and but I don't get to go eat at fancy restaurants all the time. I eat at home or I brown bag it, and I get to go to you trade. So yeah, that was my little PSA to the kids. I don't know if I'll be invited back next year because my other message was stay at home with your parents for as long as you can if you're going to be an artist until you start to make it, because. When you first start out, you kind of go up and down. You get some jobs, you don't get some jobs. You get a job for like a year or two, and then all of a sudden you get canned for whatever reason.
Gotta have mom and dad.
Yeah, you go, hey, I'm gonna come back home just for a little bit, but you can't do it too often, and then you have to stop altogether. Eventually, you have to be like, okay, you know what? There's no more going back home because you gotta move on.
Yeah, I'm. I got out of there pretty quick.
Yeah, I didn't.
Came back for a little bit, and then I left.
I did the same thing. Yeah, I got out right away, almost as soon as I could, because I had a wife and kid. Young, but I don't advise it. Any young listeners, I don't advise having kids until you're 25, 26, and older, because you have the maturity to handle them, and you're young enough to handle them. Don't wait too long, because when you get into your 30s, things start failing fast, like knees and backs and elbows and wrists. Basically, all the major joints in your 30s start failing. So have them young enough so you actually run and play with them, because around 5, 6 to like 15, they require a lot of physical energy.
Yeah.
Like playing ball and skateboarding and karate and God.
All the fun stuff.
All the fun stuff. Yeah, highly recommend them. Yeah.
Yep. Kids are fun. I have little kids.
Oh.
A newborn and a 2-year-old.
Oh, whoa. You're barely getting into it.
Yeah.
Dude. Wow. Well.
Yeah. See, I waited. I'm 35, so.
Oh, you're in that demographic I was talking about. It's going to be fun for you later. So wait. So boys or girls?
Boy and then a girl.
Who's the older?
Boy.
Boy, so the boy and a girl? Yeah, see, I had 2 girls and a boy. And the boy was...
So you have 3 kids?
I had 3 kids, yeah. And like I was telling the guys earlier, because we're getting an intern very soon, 17-year-old junior, junior high school student. And I was like, my daughter's 17. Holy crap. Weird.
That's weird.
Yeah. So it's very interesting to have kids. It's I gave them a very stern geek upbringing, Star Wars and toys and but also sports, because the whole thing about me being a geek is we're not nerds. To me, nerds don't like sports. Sports is a big thing. Like there's a very big differences. We're very similar. Like, a rose is similar to a carnation. It might be red and a flower, but it's not the same thing.
Yeah.
And like sports is a big thing. Like, most geeks can play a sport or want to play a sport.
Or follow a sport.
Or follow a sport, and then the passion they have in that is what their geekiness comes out in. So my kids, they all, and education, I call them the Renaissance men of our time, geeks. It's like you're educated, you're physically fit, you know a lot about art and music and society and a little bit of politics, because you got to know what's going on in the world, but you're not closed-minded to new ideas.
Yeah.
And that's what being a geek is that it's very popular culture. What's popular, but also being open to what's new and new ideas that are coming in, but also not being an elitist. You know, that's not very geek to be an elitist. To be an elitist is very nerdy. Like, nerds are elitists. Like, a nerd won't let you come into their little circle of nerds if you're not smart enough. You know.
But what if I'm really good at playing a halfling rogue?
You'll probably hang out with the geeks, right? Because the geeks like, you know what, we can use a halfling rogue for something. Let's bring them on.
Right.
You know. But like, those guys were like, no, you're not gonna. They'll think you'll judge them, or vice versa. They're already judging you. You know, and that's been my experience because I kind of grew up in that medium sector at first. Of like, I was probably more a nerd at first because of my intelligence level. I was reading at a 12th grade level when I was in 3rd grade. You know, and I was like really into books and really into school. And then all of a sudden, these kids were just being mean to me because of it. And I was like, oh, forget this. I'm gonna play my video games and draw more and just kind of keep a low pro. And so I was kind of like a sheltered little nerd, you know, and then I started to own whatever I liked and kind of came out of my little shell a little bit more. And I was like, you know what, screw you guys. I'm cool. I play sports and, you know, I don't need you guys, because there was a group of elitist nerds that I wanted to be a part of that wouldn't let me be a part of them. And so I hung out with my own friends that were skateboarders and little gangbangers, and I was the guy who had the video games and the comic books, you know, so I had a kind of a motley crew. And that's what they called us, the motley crew of people, you know. And that's what kind of being a geek is like, you know, you take the good, you take the bad, and you take them all, and you love them for what they are, you know. And, you know,
Facts of life.
That's the facts of life, baby. You know, and it's very much in that mentality of like, you know, paying it forward and being good to people, and, you know, because there's a lot of putting yourself out there in the geek world. You know, like I told these kids, it's like, you know, when you're a writer or you're anybody who's on the radio, you're subjecting yourself to criticism. You gotta be able to take it, not personally either, because, you know, I grew up in a family of artists that were, one of them's, you know, a very accomplished artist. You know, he's an award-winning Godzilla fan magazine artist. And I compared myself to him for years as an artist, and dude, that's like comparing yourself to Michelangelo. You know, when you're a Dali, you know, you're not even the same style. You know, so why are you even trying to compare yourself? Because his art is him and your art is you. It took me into college to realize that. You know, and it's one of those things too where it's like, you know, I have friends that are. It's kind of a new concept in society, not to bully people. You know, because even like we think it's funny, but, you know, to bully others. Even as adults, you know, I have friends that bully other adults. I'm like, dude, why are you being so mean to that guy? He's just slightly overweight, you know, but he loves Thor, you know. But I'll have guys like I'm like, yeah, okay, so he's, you know, 300 pounds in a tight Thor outfit, yeah, but he's putting himself out there because he loves Thor. You know, you really shouldn't be ragging on him because he's overweight, because he sees you laughing, he's probably gonna never come out again.
Well, I'd say like Comic-Con, like that whole scene, Comic-Con, and I don't think there's a lot of like bullying going. I mean, that's, to me, that's like a safe haven. That's
usually
like a church for kids like that. I mean,
what's happened recently? Usually, yes, I would normally agree with you, but what's happened lately is that like it's become popular that a lot of people are starting to flood towards it. Yeah. And so they're carrying a lot of their old school isms with them, you know. So we're getting a lot of bullies who aren't bullies anymore, but have that bully mentality.
Yeah.
And so they're coming in and like, oh, and they start picking up their old habits again of making fun of the fat kid at lunch or recess.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same kind of thinking. So yeah, and it's kind of a thing where with Geek Speak we're trying to kind of change that mentality. You know, of like, yes, like I tell my, like, I love the fat superheroes that go out there because they're doing things that I didn't have the balls to do myself.
Yeah.
But I was way overweight, because I was way overweight at one point in time, you know. But because of my love of hockey, roller hockey here in California, because of my love of the Kings, I got into roller hockey. I lost a bunch of weight, and then I started wrestling.
Hey, go Kings, right?
Go Kings, buddy! Right. So I'm a huge Kings fan, a huge roller hockey fan. I've been playing since I was in the 6th grade. You know, I have a bunch of scars on my face because wood sticks on cement get really sharp. You know, but I got bullied a lot for loving hockey. You know, and I would show up to school with like black eyes and stuff like, oh, and they would try to bully me because I loved hockey, because it wasn't an American sport, weird. Right? It wasn't an American sport, and I'm like, what the? And like I was telling our English blokes earlier, I grew up loving Arsenal. You know, so I had obscure loves that people didn't really jive with. You know, and it's like, well, you know, I'm a little different. So what, you know? And so now that we're adults, we're definitely all about, you know, inclusiveness, and everyone who's coming on board, absolutely come aboard. Learn to cosplay, which is, I'm sure you're familiar with cosplay.
Yeah.
Learn to cosplay and learn to LARP and learn all that stuff, but leave your old isms back there. You know, this is our domain and our sandbox, and we're always welcome to let people come play, but don't make fun of us, you know, behind our backs, you know. And it really is kind of a pay it forward mentality of, you know, don't do it behind our backs, and just don't do it, period. You know, because why? It's a negative karmic thing, you know, because someday your costume's going to fail epically on a convention floor, and everyone's going to be laughing at you. Or if everyone's thinking the right way, they're going to come help you out and pick up your costume for you and help you get it back on, you know. So it can go one of two ways, and I've seen it starting to, you know, like I said, it went kind of dark for a minute there, you know, where there was an influx of models into the cosplay society, and they were just hating on other people and hating on each other, and going to conventions was weird because that model hates that model, and they're both wearing the Scooby-Doo outfit, and it's like, what the hell's going on here, people? Like, this was not happening 5 years ago. You know, we were all friends and getting along.
I went to WonderCon, and that one girl was dressed up like Mad Moxie from Borderlands 2.
I love that.
And yeah, there was some other girl that was dressed up like that, and I think I saw something similar to that.
Yeah, and you know what? And like I said it many times. That don't fly around here. You know, we've never had those problems before in the geek community, and I don't want to see. And the only reason is because, you know, people.
That's what happens though. The geek is crossed over. You know, the geek is chic. It's like
right, and it's cool, and that's okay. Like I told, because my friend has a site called Geek Chic TV, and I'm like, it's totally cool that geek is chic. I'm okay with that, and we have T-shirts for Geek Speak that say the geek shall inherit the earth.
Yeah,
and it's totally cool, and I'm happy that it's finally, we're not going to get bullied for what we love. But I also don't want to turn us into the thing that we've become, that we didn't like to begin with. You know, I don't want to see us become the elitist jerk-offs that...
It's like that 80s movie, Can't Buy Me Love.
Perfect example. Perfect example. Oh, my God. Patrick Dempsey, love it, bro.
Get some.
Go watch that movie, ladies. If you love... What was his name? McLovin? Is that his name or some shit like that? From Grey's Anatomy? Patrick Dempsey, right? McDreamy, that's the douchebag's name. Patrick Dempsey, Can't Buy Me Love, classic 80s, walking away on the lawnmower, like, fist pump in the air and everything, man. I love it. Can't Buy Me Love, I haven't seen that in forever. But yeah, exactly. It's like, look at and it's so funny. When I was in high school, I was on the dance team, believe it or not, like actual like girls dance choreography and stuff. And I maintain a lot of those friends today. Like, we're still friends on Facebook, and we talk a lot. Right. And one of the girls posted recently on her Facebook page, you know, she's like, if I would have known now what I known then, I would have dated the nerd that was in our dance troupe. And I was like, aw, because that was me and my friends. You know, I don't know which one she's talking about specifically, but it's one of those things where, just like in Revenge of the Nerds, you know, the first one, you know, the hot girl realizes that nerds and geeks have a lot more to offer than just physical looks. Yeah. You know, don't judge a book by its cover. You know, more than likely, like with geeks, like I love geeks because you never know what you're gonna get when you meet a geek. Because again, we have this joke all the time. It's like you run into the wrong person in the back alley. It's like, oh, shoot. You know, because looking at me, you would never guess that, you know, I have 9+ years of Kempo martial arts training and 4 years of collegiate wrestling. You would never guess any of that by looking at me. Because I don't carry off that mentality of like, I'm a badass. No, I'm a geek. I love comic books more than fighting. I can, because I watched Karate Kid at a young age. I want to do that. You know, and inspired my love of, you know, watching, you know, Quicksilver, you know, oh, my knee just popped. You know, the wrestling movie back in the 80s, remember? And watching those movies inspired me to be who I am now, which is exactly what being a geek is. It's like the things we loved as a kid inspire us who we are now as adults.
Definitely.
You know, that's like you asked me about Star Wars. It's like, it's a dream come true right now.
I did Star Wars everything. Every game.
What's happening?
Possibly play.
What's happening right now in the Star Wars community is exactly what I hope would happen years ago, when he made the first original 3. Because in the 90s when he was announcing he was making prequels, I was like, this is exciting, because he said he was never going to do it. You know, And George Lucas, thank you for going back on your word so many times in history, because he said he was never going to release them on Blu-ray. He said he was never going to release the original, so I'm hoping Disney will someday release the originals. I have mine on VHS still. But he said he was never going to do it, and now that he's finally doing it, he did the prequels, and now he's going to do the last 3, and I think it's gonna be his complete vision, for one, but 2, I think it was just one of those things that had to happen at the right time.
Yeah.
And this is the right time, because we talk about the expanded universe, and Luke and Leia and Han are at the right age to where they need to be let out properly.
Yeah.
At a cinematic history, because this is our Homer's Odyssey, the Star Wars saga. I think. I mean, it's way bigger than Star Trek.
I think way bigger. I mean, just looking at Clone Wars alone, not the movies, the
series.
Genndy Tartakovsky, the 6 seasons of like
beautiful work.
Like, oh my god! I was watching it with my nephew the other day.
I tell my adult friends all the time, please get past the fact that it's a cartoon and just watch it. You will cry.
Just watch it,
dude. I think about it now. I get teary-eyed. I'm like, oh, it's a beautiful storyline.
Yeah,
those clones are amazing. Like my favorite is the Lost Clone.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. No spoilers on that one, but oh my god, it's so well written, and it gives me hope for Episode 7. Like I said, the Clone Wars is so well done. George Lucas waited so long and then did the right thing by selling it to Disney, so they could do it right. They can lead our greatest characters in our cinematic history out properly, and wrap this up and get us going on for the next thousands of years of movies.
Yeah.
Because they bought that holocron for $5 billion. Have you heard about this?
No.
I love this. Some Jedi knowledge for you right here. First of all, Jedi is actual religion. Biggest religion in Australia, bigger than Christianity. So obviously Star Wars wins when the whole Star Trek thing. I'm just gonna say it. But Disney, when they bought Lucasfilm for $5 billion, which is huge. The expanded universe was part of that package, and so they called the holocron, which in Star Wars lore is a little box of information that the Jedis use, and they're sacred little boxes. So according to LucasArts in the article that I read, they sold them something like 50,000 years worth of storylines.
50,000 years.
50,000 years worth of storylines from when Yoda was first born to the end of Star Wars. So they can make movies for the next hundreds of years from that 50,000 years worth of storylines of characters they mentioned, a one-off character here, a Darth Jedi there, Yoda and his parents, and how he came from, So there's endless possibilities of movies.
That's awesome.
And the director from Godzilla has already been slated to direct the first Star Wars spin-off movie.
Oh, nice. So they are going to expand the universe. They really are just going to be like, all right, here we go.
Here we go. And then with the beauty of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., have you seen that?
Yeah.
Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and how well that's worked for Marvel and the Thor movies.
Yeah, and tying it into the movies.
They're going to do the same thing with Star Wars and have a Star Wars TV show, just like they do with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Well, hey, so chew on this, though. So then you definitely, are you a fan of DC at all? Because Arrow, I think, has killed it.
I've heard great things about Arrow. I haven't seen it yet.
Arrow's killed it.
Because I'm not a big DC fan.
I'm not a big DC fan, but my buddy this guy that I write with, he's like, just watch Arrow. Just watch Arrow. Mm-hmm. First season, dude, ices like so many fools.
Yeah.
Like so many fools.
I'm going to have to watch it because Dwayne, or my buddy from Geek Speak,
it's really good. But you can see that they're doing the same thing, that they looked at Marvel and went, dude, we got to get on the freaking horse again.
It's a good
reboot.
It's a good marketing strategy.
Yeah.
Because like I was telling people, they were like, oh, I hate Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And I'm like, I'm telling you guys, it's bigger than a TV show.
Yeah.
Like, because the way they're tying in the storylines and the new characters, like Lady Sif, came out in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I'm sure she's going to have her own spin-off of some sort, and, the Enchantress, her sister, what was her name? Lorelei.
Yeah.
She came out for a minute and then gone. She's still here on Earth. Like, as far as we know, what's going to happen with her? Like, there's so many storylines. So same thing with Star Wars universe. They're going to have a TV show that plays. And I heard it was going to be very X-Files-like. Like Jedi investigators. Because that's what Jedis were. They were the cops of the universe.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, dude. Imagine that, dude. A Jedi crime show.
Jedi investigators.
That's awesome. So, hey, we only have like a minute left.
You want to tell me where the bodies are?
You want to tell me where the bodies are. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the new Star Wars rehashes.
That'd be pretty cool.
Well, so hey, that's your show.
Another week.
Another week in
Another
the can.
show.
Thanks for having me on. It was a lot of fun talking stuff I don't get to talk about.
Yeah,
then,
hey, that's kind of what we talk about here on Truth.
And then stuff I normally do talk about, like Star Wars and whatnot. So
Yeah.
felt really at home. So you'll be here next week?
Yeah, I'll be here next week again.
Same bat time.
Same
Don't know.
bat channel.
Don't let man lose. Hopefully he survives his plague or whatever he's suffering from. But I heard there's a cream for that. So you might want to.
It's possible.
You might want to look into that.
Anything's possible.
All right, man. So you want to say anything else you want to say?
No, just thanks for listening to Truth. You're listening to KXSR. It's only heard on exciteradio.com.
It's the Hollywood Rockin' Wrap-Up with your host, Jason Hadley. Sad news as famed Nobel Prize